ladies and gentlemen, as always, this has become a really regular refrain for me, man. I always bring really good quality and great guests. And this week, it is none other than a guy who has got three personas. He is only one person, but he is awesome in all that he does for the kingdom of God. It is none other than Tony D, aka Dallas Frazier, aka Tony D, on the radio from the NAP show, live in the Soul Food Gospel Studios. Tony, how you doing today, my brother?
Man, I'm great, man. Thank you so much, Elder, for allowing me to come on with you today. It's an honor.
It's long been overdue, you know. Shall I tell you something? I think there was something in the spirit before you, and I'm not like super spirit kind of person, but I was saying to myself, I need to get Tony on. I haven't had Tony on. Tony's always pushing people to me. He's always recommending people. He's always doing all the stuff that he needs to do. And
Right.
you're apart from you being a radio presenter in your own right. You know, you've got your own media company. But you're a musician. You're a gospel artist yourself. And I thought, you know what? Now that there's no better time than now than to have you on. So I am really honored, man. Really, really honored to have you here.
Well, when you said yes, I was very thankful. So I appreciate it, man. And first of all, let me say this while I have you on,
Yeah.
man, to be able to share my show with, as you said in the prayer before we came on, with the people across the pond means the world to me. You know,
Mm,
to be able to have the new artist profile airing in the
mm.
UK, and artists get to share their ministry across the water, man, it's amazing. And so thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, all you've done to support. I think it's going on 3 years now, so I say thank you for that.
You wake up and time just moves on, right? And you just don't
Yeah.
even know how how things begun and how things look. But again, we're saying 3 years, and I'm kind of jumping the gun, but the new artist profile has been going for like over 20 odd years, right? 22, 23 years now.
Yes, yes, yes. A long time. A long time. Yeah, yeah. And
Oh.
I'm only 30. I'm only 30 years old. A little bit more past 30, but yeah.
You came out of the womb and said, Mama, give me a pair of
New artist
headphones.
profile.
I got to do the new artist profile. We've got those new artists out there. No one else is going to do this. I've got to be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. But as I said, there are so many things that you've achieved, but I just want to wind it all the way back, right? We can chop it up like we know each other, because I guess we speak and we're backwards and forwards and we see ourselves. But your first interview in the UK?
Uh, yes,
Yeah, okay.
I
So
believe so. Yes, I believe so.
so we better make it a good one, right? Otherwise.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. All right, first interview in the UK. So a lot of people probably hear the NAP show. They may have heard of you, but let's know a little bit more about how you started off in music. I guess music was the first thing that kind of like brought you to kind of like radio and everything else that you do, right?
So it's a long story. I started off in music as
Mm.
a 10-year-old bass player in New York, in Queens, New York, Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church, where I
Wow.
initially started playing bass for the male choir, and then branched off to become the actual church bass player. And then had an opportunity to play bass at different choirs. Had a short stint with Love Fellowship, Bishop Hezekiah Walker,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
different choirs in the Queens, New York area. And then I went to the military, took a little break from the base there. I was trying to figure out, where I was in life. Got out of the military, picked it back up, and was playing ever since. I love the bass guitar. It's just always have been something that stood out to me in music and the bands and everything. I will always find the bass line of the songs, hum the bass line. I didn't even realize I was trying to groom to myself to be a bass player. But yeah, so I started at 10 years old, man. So now at almost
Wow.
57 years old, I'm still playing.
Wow, 10 years old. So did you come from like a musical family, that kind of thing? Or, how did you get into the bass?
So, my mother had me playing the acoustic guitar, but she was paying for the
Okay.
lessons, and I wasn't. I wasn't studying. Said, I'm not paying for any more lessons. I think my mother learned how to play, and I, and so I put it down maybe about 8 years old, and I went to a quartet concert, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw my cousin Paulie, who's going on to be with the Lord. But my cousin Paulie was just he was working that bass, and it was the attraction of that day, man. Just really said that's what I want to do, and then I began to
Wow.
study bass players and Victor Wooten, Wayman Tisdale, Larry Graham,
Ooh.
all of those guys, man.
Yeah.
Lewis Johnson, and I just really, really developed a love for the bass.
Wow. I gotta say I do love Mr. Tisdale as well. I've
Oh man, I was listening to him yesterday. I love Wayman Tisdale. Rest his soul. Yeah.
That's a whole nother story for another day. So that's another thing that we have in common as well. All right. So age 10, playing the bass, doing what didn't realize you were in the military as well. That's quite how was that then as an experience?
I needed to go because my father was gonna kill me if I didn't. So I needed to go and help mature me. I went in at 17. I did 10 years, got out at 27.
Hmm.
And it was a maturing thing for me. So I traveled the world, saw a lot of places that I probably wouldn't have seen it had I stayed in New York.
Okay.
So, I served in 2 wars, so it was a good experience. I was glad to get out, but
Hmm.
it served its purpose. Served its purpose.
Were you playing in what while you in in the
I
service?
did play some, not a lot. I did play some. That was in the military time was when I was trying to find who I was. I kind of
Okay.
I kind of put the church down a little bit, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
I mean, but I was playing some. I was playing some.
Okay. I mean, look, life is a journey, right? And I
It
think
is.
sometimes people really get fixed on whether or not, continuity is nice, but life is not always a straight line. It goes kind of like
Right.
that, and it goes up and
Yeah.
it goes down. And so far as you got lessons from where you learn, and then you end up in the right place. For me, that's more important than any other. I would get a little bit questionable if anybody told me they had a perfect, it's
Oh
just
no.
been amazing for the past 50 odd years. I've just been in the
No.
Lord I say, okay, that's good. That's not my story, but it's good.
Not mine either. Not mine either. Thank God for the grace that He
I,
gives us second, third, fourth, fifth chances. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that grace, I make sure I use it every day.
Right. Right.
So, all right. So, in the military, come out of the military. Tell us what happens after that in terms of your development.
Musical development or
Yeah.
just development in general?
Just so what direction did you take? Because at some point, you are where you are now. Were there any seeds or any shoots that started off back then?
Yeah, so when I got out of the military, I, picked the bass up and I went back to Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church. Was playing the musician there.
Mm,
Um, um, I really didn't take it seriously as I do now.
mm.
I it's so funny. I really have taken me being an artist seriously over the last 2 years, and
Okay.
really over the last maybe 8 months. Really, because I was so into supporting other artists.
True.
So I was doing my music just as a stress relief, fun situation. Funny story. I
Mm.
tell my dad this all the time. He's like, "You shouldn't have listened to me." I'm like, "I should have." Are you telling me I shouldn't have listened to you? When I got out of the military, I wanted to go to music school,
Okay.
and my dad, I went to got all the information, came home, and my dad was like, "Ah, that's not good. You're not gonna make money in music. You need to get a trade." So I went to air conditioning and refrigeration school, HVAC school, got my degree, and
Hmm.
if your AC went out, don't call me because I don't know what to do. So I took the rest of my GI Bill money, and I was in a relationship with a young lady at the time who was going to school to be an optometrist.
Yeah.
So I took the rest of my GI Bill money and I went to optician school, and I learned how to make eyeglasses. And so for 20 some odd years, I worked at various optical places, in New York, and then I transitioned to South Carolina. and I continue to make eyeglasses, lens crafters, Pearl Vision, places like that. So by trade, I'm a licensed optician and contact lens specialist. But I always had music, and so I tell my dad, I could have been doing this all along. He said, "Well, why'd you listen to me for?" I'm like, "I was supposed to listen."
Why don't you get
But
up and do your own thing?
shout out to
Mm.
my dad, man. He's a great guy. 90 years old. He's still holding steady, doing his thing. So, and he's a big supporter of my music now. So, yeah.
Wow. So that's a funny story. So you've had some, so from the army to lens crafting to HVAC to the whole 9 yards, and then
Man, some
we
everything.
you done a bit of any other jobs you've done? Were you moonlighting on the side? Anything
Oh
at
yeah,
all?
I'm not trying to there's a saying in New York that people who have multiple jobs, they're Jamaicans. You can call me a Jamaican, bro, because I've installed cable TV, I've installed satellite TV. I owned a deep car detail shop. I have designed custom shoes. I made jewelry. Yeah, I've done a lot, bro. I've done a lot.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that you're a very skillful man. That's what it really says, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of people, most people, I mean, I've done a few things, but this just shows a variety of different, because these things, they're not really similar. I'm just
No.
thinking like car detailer and optometry or optometrist or
Yes,
lens
right.
crafter.
Optician, right. Uh-huh.
Those things are not even close. And, HVAC and,
I know.
yeah, it's just a really great set. But the thing is, it gives you a wealth of knowledge that I guess you bring, and it makes for great storytelling, but also great learning for other people as well, man.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you this hopefully to inspire somebody who watches.
Yeah.
My father used to bring me outside and
Hmm.
wash his car. He taught me how to wash his car, and then I had to wash him and my mom's car.
Yeah.
And so he would call the guys in the neighborhood, "Hey, hey, come over. Anthony's gonna wash your car." And I'm like, "I'm gonna wash his car." So I ended up washing all the guys' cars in the neighborhood when I went out to wash my dad. So in the Saturday, I would wash 10 cars. But they was paying me. They would pay me to wash the cars. I lost a
Okay.
job. I walked away from a job, one of my optical jobs, because the boss wasn't cool.
Mm.
And so I came home and started this detailing business because of what my dad taught me as a child detailing cars. And I took some online courses and things like that, and I ran the detail shop till for 5 years, and it was very successful here in the area. Had a great time doing it. I was able to employ a lot of the young people from my church. So yeah, it was great. So I say that to say you cannot ignore the things you're doing because you just think, "Oh, I'm just doing it." You never
Yeah.
know what that training or that
Yeah.
education is going to allow you to do down the road. Now, and I still detail cars now. People call me like, "Hey, Dallas, you got opportunity, man? Come pick." Yeah, hey, that's extra money. I sure do. I go get their cars and detail them. It's up. So I'm a consummate entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though
That's what
I've
it
worked
is.
for corporate people, I worked, but I never was that guy who really was too cool with people telling me what to do. Like, I'm like, yo, that's dumb. Why should I do that? Just because the bosses who don't even know me, that entrepreneurship wasn't my thing. Being a corporate America wasn't my thing. I am a consummate entrepreneur.
Yeah, you're the businessman, and you see what you said. There was something, I don't know if it was TG Jakes. He always said, don't be frightened to do the thing, because if it's not the thing, it's the thing that will get you to the thing.
Right.
And that
Exactly.
really, yeah, that really resonated with me. If it's not, then but it's just your stepping stone to get to where you need to be. But there's something else, and we're going to talk about the radio as well. So you did car detailing for 5 years. This wasn't just a whim, like, oh, I think I'll give this a go. You actually into it. Good.
Yeah. It's crazy, crazy. I got a bunch of stories. Crazy story, I'm gonna make it short. I was talking to a homeboy of mine from New York that morning, and he was like, "Yo, Dallas, what you gonna do, man? You lost your job." I said, "Man, I said, Gary, I want to start a detail shop. He was like, man, that'd be really good down there. And I was like, yeah. By the end of the day, I went to this place to handle some other business. I pull up in the parking lot and it said crystal clear auto detailing on the window. I wasn't there to look for a detailing place. I went to handle some other business. And we went in and talked to the gentleman. We handled the business. And I said, by the way, I said it says crystal clear auto detailing. This is the same day I spoke to my friend about doing the detail shop. He said, yeah, there was another guy here last week that left. He tried to do a detail shop here, but he wasn't dedicated. And I said, well, I want to do it. He said, look, don't waste my time. I don't have time to waste. If you're going to waste my time, we've handled our business. You can go about your business your way. I said, no, I'm serious. I talked about it this morning. So by the end of the week, I had my detail shop at that place. And I
Wow.
ran it there for 5 years. And the gentleman who I gave me the opportunity is my business mentor, and that's been over 20 years ago.
Wow. Look at God, man. You see,
God will orchestrate stuff, man. You know,
I'm
it's
telling
crazy
you,
how he does it.
man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you got to be, your ears got to be to the ground, man. You know, you got to be able to take it all in. But again, you know, I, I love stories like this because for me, it just shows when regular people, and I, you know, I don't mean regular in any way like looking down on people, but people sometimes think that as a believer, as a Christian, you know, you're all, you know, your antennas are here and you're picking up here and you're doing all this stuff. But we're just regular people living a regular life, but we have a faith that we know that we can put to work that will open doors where sometimes there's just no opportunity. I mean, you know what? Most people, right? And this is such a juicy. I'm thriving already on this, Tony. Most people hearing that another shop had failed there, right? They would say that's not a good area. I
Hmm.
shouldn't even. Okay, yeah, maybe even the whole detailing thing, man. That's not a thing. Let's just move it on. But you know, it takes that confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put my 110% into it. I'm going to make this work, and you know, look at God later on, man. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. All right,
Yeah,
let's
I've
talk.
never been the
Good.
person. I've never been the person to not try. If I fail,
Mm,
I fail. But I'm gonna try it at least once.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. So let's talk radio. How did that all begin then? So from being a car detailer, HVAC guy.
Another story.
That's another story. Come on, man.
Another
Lay on
story.
us.
I don't want to bore the people with all these stories, but
No, man. The stories make it interesting.
so my dog is really worrying. She wants to get in the picture so bad. Um, so I would make mixed CDs, right? And I would make the CDs, I would front and back announce the song. Now, I didn't know it was front and back announcing. I would just say, hey, that was Marvin Sapp. I'm about to give you Kurt Franklin, and this is DJ Dallas, you know. And I would give the CDs to people. And one of my homeboys was like, yo, my middle name is Anthony. He was like, yo, Ant, man, it sounds like you on the radio. And I would make up fictitious, call letters and stuff like that. This is W12345, whatever. And so I just started, honing that gift because I was a DJ in the club as well. So I knew how to talk and do all of that. So I was at the barbershop and I heard the on-air personality for the station that I have been at for 20 some odd years. I heard him in the barbershop. I went and talked to him. I said, I want to be on air. Another one. He was like, look, don't waste my time. People tell me they be on the radio all the time. I was like, no, I want to be on the radio. He said, well, be at the station 6 a.m. on Monday morning. You can help me be my intern. I was there at 6 o'clock and I interned with him. When I say I interned, I interned. I got coffee. I looked up the news. I got him the weather. I entertained the guests, let him bring him into the green. I didn't do any on air stuff for at least a year, and I guess he thought I was going to be disappointed by not being on the air. But I learned. I learned when he left, the other person that came in took his place. I would sit in during the afternoon show with him. One day he said, Dallas, I'll be back. I have to go to the store. He said, after this commercial break, you do the rest of the show. Left me in the studio to do the rest of the show. So I did the rest of the show, which was about 2.5 hours. And
Whoa.
he called me back and he said, I didn't have to go anywhere. I just wanted to give you your opportunity. And so from that day forward, that's when my radio career started. And Mr. Harry Hughes, if you're watching this video, I always thank Harry Hughes for giving me that opportunity because he was one of the iconic voices in gospel here in Augusta, Georgia, and he gave me an opportunity, and it's been on and popping since.
Wow. You know what? The reason why I'm laughing, right? You know, we're brothers from across the pond, right? That's almost how it started for me as well.
Wow.
I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would have said you've gone away. Maybe you've read the book that I've not written yet about how I first started off, and it started off with CDs. You know, I used to do compilation CDs, just like I never used to do the announcing on the top, but again, you know, I'd been out in the club, so I knew how to do all that kind of stuff, and I used to make up like me being on the radio. Sometimes I'd be talking to myself, you know, like, hey,
Right.
and here comes another hit,
Right.
like
Right.
crazy,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. So I completely get it. But that idea again of just waiting and being patient, you know, and learning your craft, that is such an important thing. And that, you know, so I think sometimes people are a little bit too quick. They want to be on and be the personality immediately without really seeing a lot of the stuff that goes on you know, behind the ropes. And I guess that kind of helped you when you thought about expanding and then, you know, running your own radio stations and stuff.
It did. I learned so much at that time, but I learned more now of the engineering side with what I'm doing here in Augusta now than
Mm,
I did then. But I really learned how to hone my craft and be a personality on the radio. I tell a
mm,
lot of people, everybody wants to be in radio nowadays. They
yeah,
think it's first of all, they think it's so easy. It is not easy. To do what you and I do is not easy. It's not. The preparation time to do what you and I do is longer than the time that we're on the air,
true.
you
Very
know.
true.
And so you always have to stay relevant, you know. So you have to be you have to develop yourself as a personality. So yeah, I learned a lot on how to be a personality, how
Mm,
to engage the audience, how to keep the show fresh and energetic so people would listen and not
yeah,
turn to another radio station, you know, not turn off the lives, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I learned a lot of that. And I listen to other radio. I listen to you. I listen to a lot of different people to get different techniques and different catchphrases and different, you know,
yeah.
little things that
Those,
you say. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. I love what I do. And you have to love what you do because, and I'm saying this, it's not a lot of money in radio.
It's not.
you you're not going to be a millionaire working in radio. You'll be comfortable,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe,
yeah, yeah.
but you have
Maybe.
to love what you do, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that I love what I do, and I've been blessed to do it for a long time.
Mm, that's good. So a bit of a sideways question. What's the longest show you've done?
The and longest meaning.
Like in one show, or a session, have you like done like, you know, a whole afternoon, like from 12 o'clock down to 6 o'clock, and or something like that?
We used to do the longest I've done was 4 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's
The
quite long.
longest I've done
Yeah.
was 4 hours.
Mm,
From two from I did the afternoon drive here in Augusta for
mm-hmm.
5 years, and that was from 3 to 6. But I did another radio station I was on in the morning from 8 to 12.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, going up always seems a bit harder than coming down. I don't
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm
know.
not. I don't like. I'm not that much of a morning person. Like I can get up in the morning, but and do stuff, but to get up to get on the radio, that was a struggle. You know, I'm more. I was better from the 3 to 6, so I'm already up. You
Yeah.
know, but just getting up and start talking at 8 o'clock in the morning and to hype yourself up, I was like, oh, you know.
It's true. I'm the reverse. I do okay in the morning, but then as the day goes on, I just feel the energy just
Oh wow.
sliding away.
Okay.
But it's true. It's something that we, I identify with you. We both love it. So pretty much, someone says, can you do a show? And be like, yeah, okay, all right. When I first started off, funny story, I used to go into the studio purposely early before my show was due to start because I always knew that the other two people, there was a strong possibility that they wouldn't turn up, and that would give me the opportunity to do their show and my show as well.
Right.
So
Right.
it was just like, you love it and you love it and you love it. All right, tell us about so okay, you got your break in radio. That went well. How did that now evolve into so did the new artist profile come first, or did C stage come before that, or did they happen both at the same time?
The new artist profile came first.
Mm-hmm.
So I was as at the same station, WAW 94.7 here in Augusta. They
Mm-hmm.
had a 30-minute show called the New Artist Showcase, and I co-hosted that. And then I became the host, and then I wanted to make it longer, so it went to an hour. And I was just focusing on Augusta, South Carolina area artists. But
Mm.
then a lot of people started sending me other music outside of the area, start stretching to
Okay.
Columbia, South Carolina, Lexington, South Carolina, some parts of Georgia. And so I started, it was a regional show.
Mm.
And then shout out to my man Courtney Clark of 108 Praise Radio in Atlanta, Georgia. Very big internet station.
Yeah, big, big. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first station to syndicate the new artist profile. And when he put the new artist profile on his platform, that's when everything
They
opened
just
up. All the people started sending me music, and then it grew from there. But I was doing the new artist profile live on the FM station here in Augusta, Georgia. It went from Sundays to Saturdays. It jumped around, but it was consistently on the air. So yeah, and then it started branching out to more internet stations, more terrestrial stations. Yeah.
so how many are you hooked up with at the moment? Do you know?
53 right now.
Wow. So like one for
To include soul food.
yeah. So that's like one for every week, right, of the year. That's not bad. That is not
Yeah.
bad. That's not bad. And yeah, apart from the UK and obviously in the US, are you outside those two territories?
Um I'm in Africa.
Hmm.
Um that's it.
That's it.
Yes. I'm in uh uh Bahamas. That's still the States, I think.
I'd
I
call that
think
the
so.
Caribbean, but hey,
Okay.
that's
Well,
cool. Bahamas is cool. Uh-huh.
I'm in the Bahamas, I'm in Antigua.
Okay,
Um
great.
Yeah, and then you guys in the
Yeah.
UK, and Cleansing Light station
Yep.
in the radio station in the UK.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so yeah, yeah, and then I'm excited about the terrestrial stations here in the States as
Mm.
well. So, my ultimate goal, and Lord please, is to land on XM Kurt Franklin or somewhere on XM radio. It doesn't have to be Kurt Franklin praise anywhere. But if I can get the new artist profile on XM radio, then you will hear me doing my shout all the way in the UK. I'm
So
speaking those things that are not as they
as
are.
though they are, my brother, because if we don't, then it'll be like it's just going over in your head. So you got to speak it out, man. You got
Right.
to say it out. You just never know. Someone might be watching this and go, well, actually, check out this new artist profile. This guy's been at
Never,
this for quite a while, man. 20 odd
never.
years. Yeah, you go, he's a professional, man. Okay, let's get him on here. Seasoned professional, veteran on the radio.
Please.
I can't wait for that day as well. So, all right. So we kind of so you own another radio station apart from C Stage as well, right? You got another one too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to my business partner, Timlin Atkins. We own C Stage together, and
Yeah.
it's really been growing. A lot of listeners that check into C Stage, so we're excited about that. We're a media-based reporting station.
Yeah.
And I also own WCSE Radio, which is an internet
That's right.
station that basically is focusing on the central Savannah River area, which is comprised of South Carolina and Augusta. So even though we have the terrestrial stations, I set up the internet stations so people can listen in their cars and on job, and we
Yeah.
talk about what's going on in this area.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Augusta news, South Carolina news, but we still play all the artists from all over.
Okay, that's great. Shout! It was Timberland's birthday not too long ago, wasn't it? As well,
Yes,
I think a few
yes,
weeks
a
ago.
couple of
So,
days ago.
shout out the
Yeah,
PR diva herself. You see, I
PR
listened to
diva.
the show. I
Yeah.
listened to the show as well. Okay, so, talking of which, right? So, new artist profile. It's all about independent artists, right? Tell us a bit more about how the new artist profile works as a radio show.
Sure. It's 2 hours. We went to 2 hours a couple
Hmm.
of years ago, and we highlight independent artists or artists that are signed to an independent label.
Mm,
So if you're signed to an independent label, then we'll play your music. If you're signed to one of the used to be Big Five, but I think they're decreasing. But if you're assigned to the major labels, then I may play it on a special occasion, but not
mm.
on a regular. The show is basically based for to support independent labels artists and independent artists that's just trying to get their music out
Yeah. Okay. And I think that's fair because those guys get played on the other stations anyway.
all the time.
So yeah, so I guess it's nice to have that place where you can discover people, and everybody wants their track to be heard, right? Everyone wants their track played on radio.
Yes,
I always say this: Spotify is great, Apple Music is great. I've got nothing against those, but I think as if you're in music, you want your track on a radio station.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. You do.
yeah,
You
yeah.
do.
You do.
It's something about hearing your music on the radio is just the first time I heard a song of mine on the radio, I almost fell out. Like Fred Sanford, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you.
But you're right. It's such a great feeling, right? Just to,
It
say,
is.
oh my god, it's on the road. Like, because you get the odd people that are listening to stuff as well, and they go, I just heard my song, and you see, they take out their phone and they're like,
Right.
video the car stereo thing with the track playing, and
Yeah.
sometimes they don't even have their name on it, but it's their song on the radio, and it's just
Yeah.
becomes a whole excitement piece. But it's such an important way, and radio really is for me. I think it's a good way to know how your music is being received around the world as well. Because you mentioned media based. Just to explain a little bit about that, how that works.
Sure. Media Base is
Mm,
owned by iHeart, and
mm,
iHeart owns a lot of radio stations here in the States.
mm,
And it's a tabulation company who tabulates the spins on those stations that report to Media Base.
mm.
And it's not all the stations in the country. So if it's I'm just throwing out numbers for the
Yeah,
explanation. But if it's a
yeah.
thousand stations, maybe maybe 200 of them report to media base. So all
Hmm.
of them do not report to media base. And then the media base reports to Billboard. And that's how you get the Billboard charts and things like that. So they all work
Oh,
together. And now we have the advent of the media base internet chart, which is very important to me because my company, Christian Sounds Entertainment, we really promote independent artists on that chart. And
yeah.
so you have the internet chart for media base as well that helps the artists get to Billboard. So media base is a very important tool for those artists who want to track their spins,
Mm,
find out where they're being played, and then they can strategically get in those areas where of the country and the states where their music is being played and promote, try to get concerts and just develop relationships in those areas. They also have the gospel stations charts as well, which
okay.
is run by Andre Carter of Synergy One Radio and Roderick Carter of Nia Gospel Radio. They came together and have a phenomenal gospel stations charts. And it's
Okay.
relatively young. I think it's going on into its third year of existence. But they have those stations who can't afford to pay into the media base because you do have to pay a monthly fee to media base. But if you
Okay.
can't afford to pay to media base, then you can get on the gospel stations charts, and they have the same software as media base, and then monitor the spins, and you can climb up the charts as well.
Oh wow. Okay. So I guess if you're an independent artist, you need to get your music over to Tony D, man. Get him playing it if it meets the criteria. And again, that's another thing. We're going to talk about your music, but just another thing because I think there's I don't know if it was this year or last year. You know, you were doing a live, and you know you were just expressing your heart about the quality of what you get. You know, and whether or not it's not everything that passes that bar, right? That is okay to play. Just talk a little bit about that for anybody that's thinking of sending stuff in.
Yeah, I know you. I know you go through this too.
Mm,
Being as doing it as long as you have, and the quality that show you have.
mm,
Everybody thinks they're an artist, but that's not the case. And I really not trying to be ugly, but because you have a desire to be an artist, that does not mean that you have the ability to be an artist.
that's true.
So you have to find out where you are. Maybe, and I spoke about this on my podcast Sunday. You might be a songwriter. You might be an arranger. You might be one who helps bring the choral group together and teach the parts, but you may
Yeah,
not be the one to actually sing the songs yourself because everybody doesn't have that ability. I
yeah.
sound like Luther Vandross in the shower. But you get me you get me on the microphone, I sound like Fred Sanford. So, and then you have to the song quality has to be good. When I tell artists, and I do this myself, I
Yeah,
tell artists, if you put your music up against your favorite established artists, and if your music doesn't sound just as good as theirs, if the quality of the production isn't as good, as the talent isn't as good, if the song meaning isn't just as good, then you may need to go back to the drawing board. I really don't like to turn down music because I know that when you're creating something, in most cases, it comes from a deep place in the individual. So, but I have to turn down the music for several different reasons, and probably don't have enough time. But one of the reasons why we have to deny some songs, especially from an independent artist, is because if we play bad music on the radio, then radio stations, people will turn the station. And if radio stations are supported by businesses who buy advertising, for every person that turns that radio station and goes to the competitor station, that
yeah.
means that person did not hear that advertising.
There you go.
So if we playing a lot of bad music, then Willie is going to turn to the other station. We want Willie to stay on my station. So the advertisers who spend their money can
Yeah,
have their merchandise, their event, their church, their whatever
yeah,
haven't heard.
yeah.
That's what I try to tell artists. That's what radio is about. Radio is not in the business anymore of breaking artists. Radio is in the business of making money. And they
Mm.
make money by playing music that will retain listeners to that platform.
Here, here. Most definitely. Most definitely. And it's yeah, it can be a little bit awkward sometimes, especially if you know the person and the person sends you some stuff in. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. That is hard. And I
it,
really try. Like sometimes people will inbox me or text me and Elder, I'm sitting here with my phone like, oh man, it takes me like 30, 40 minutes to send them something back because I'm thinking, how can I say,
say
I don't
this.
want to say, hey bro, your song's horrible. I don't want to say that. I'm trying to find a diplomatic way to
Right.
say. So what I have said now is, at this time, we're not receiving any new additions to the show. Um, I
Now,
try to
don't give it
find a
away, otherwise everyone's gonna think every time they
okay,
get
everybody gonna
that.
know.
Yeah.
They're gonna say Tony ain't like my music.
Don't you like the music? Yeah, that's the push off there, right? We're not taking any more than you. But I guess you have to find some way to be able to say it because you
Yeah, we
know,
got to.
you know how we are, man. We can be a little bit. I don't know what the word is. We can begin to feel that there's an attack of some kind coming on there just because, Tony D. I had a story with someone else very, very similar. Sent the music through, said she was a friend or somebody who I really, really admire and trust. And when the music came through, I was I didn't quite get it right. You know that you just don't get the parallel. So it's like you know Darwin Hobbes calls you. Say, hey, in fact, the person goes, "Oh, Darwin Hobbes told me I should send this track to you," and you're thinking, "Well, if Darwin Hobbes told them, hey, it's got
Right.
to be good,"
Right.
and it
Right.
just didn't match with what I got, and I
Right.
kept listening to it, kept listening, and it was so difficult. Let me use that word. But I actually contacted the person and said, "Do you know this person?" And the person said, "No, I don't."
Wow.
And then it then came across that at some point they'd met a long time ago, and the person had heard this person, you know, play their music on my show and said, "Oh, well, I know them, and I'm sending this through because I know them." But there wasn't any real relationship because I know that person would have definitely have said, "If you're sending things through, it's got to be, you know, it's got to be great." But I
Right.
don't think she took it really well when I didn't play her song. And you know, at the end, I'll probably do you more of a disservice really if I play it anyway because people are going to think, "Oh, okay, maybe it needs a little bit of work." But
Right.
again, yeah, story for another day. But okay, so you're an artist. Let's talk about your music journey. Did you get any of those emails? I'm gonna say we're not taking new music at this time.
Oh yes, I did. I did.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
have. I actually got one the other day. I did. I
Oh
did.
my.
Yes, I did. I got one
Oh.
from a friend of mine. Sent one of my songs to
Mm.
an individual who programs for um, the XM Jazz station,
Yeah.
and they sent the song back and said, although I like it, he needs work on the production. He needs this. He needs that. And
Okay.
I didn't take it offensively.
Yeah.
I was happy that the gentleman gave his input about the song.
Yeah.
So I asked my friend, could I email him? And he said, yeah, reach out to him. So I emailed him and said, thank you for listening. Thank you for the input. Now I know what direction to go into as I move into the smooth jazz arena.
Yep.
Can when you have time, would you take out some time and maybe coach me in this? I was cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't have you got to be flexible to receive criticism. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Especially if people are in that area and they do this for a living every day. So yes, I have had some no's. I've had some people say, I send the song out, the demo track. Notice I say the demo track, not the
Yeah.
final track.
Not
I
the
send the
final mix and
demo out.
master, baby, just a demo. Yeah.
Right. And they say, Tony, I don't know about that. You might want to check this before you move any further. How you playing the bass on, and then I take those ideas to my producer and then we sit down and, so yes, because I want to, this is all new to me. So I
Yeah.
want to make sure first that I am doing what I coach the artist to do. I don't want to be a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want, I don't want I don't want to push my book, Lyrics to Limelight, and they get the book and say, "Well, Tony,
You ain't
you ain't do
following
what
the
you did in
recipe.
your book." You know what I'm saying? And then I want to put out the best product that I can,
Yeah.
with my name on it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's the whole thing, right? You take the feedback in so that you can be, you can be better. So when you do come back, someone go, you listen to everything and you've put it in place. So,
yeah.
that's kind of how it works. But so it was back in the summer, right? You sent Party Tonight out, right? And we loved it at Soul Food Gospel. That
Amen.
became our record of the week. Now it's weird because the record of the week is actually record of the month, but hey ho, who's really watching? But we really liked it. It was a really great feel good track. I know you got a new track out, but just tell us a little bit about that one.
Party Tonight was a track that I worked on for a long time. I'm talking about maybe 3 years. And actually, the original version was a song that I would use to talk over on my radio show. And then I had the whole concept of the song and I sent it to my producer, Damian Merle in Wilmington, North Carolina. He said, Tony, I like this, but would you let me work on it and slow it down a little bit, but still keep the concept of the song? And I said, yeah. And he did. And we created the track. And then I called my dear friend, Sam Purpose, and he put some great rap bars on there. And the concept of the song was to have something that you can mix right after "Summertime" by Will Smith. That was what I wanted to have something to play
Oh,
before "Summertime" by Will Smith or after "Summertime." I want to have a summertime anthem, and I've done that at parties. I've mixed "Summertime" and "Party Tonight," and it's a smooth transition.
smooth
So
transition.
yeah, so that was my concept. Just a fun song that Christian people could play at the barbecues, along with all the line dance stuff that they play at the barbecues, and have fun, man. That's what it was all about.
No, I just love the thought process as well. Make sure it can go right next to "Summertime." It's almost like that's the marketing piece, right? So
Yeah,
this
I tell
track,
people, hey,
yeah,
yeah, this is it's summertime 2.0. You can
go.
rock this with after Will Smith. Now I love and let me first of all, that is one of the most iconic summer jams or party jams of all time.
Yep.
Summertime, love it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. 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 Yeah. I mean, I grew up on all that stuff, so
yeah.
yeah. For me, that makes a whole lot of sense. But that is a really good unique. I think sometimes I don't know if people do that when they're thinking of doing their track. That this would go really well with this, but that's another really good idea. I'm gonna have to keep that one on the back burner when I'm talking to people as well, because sometimes you can do a track and it's really good, but it doesn't really especially if it's like a party kind of vibe, you're thinking, doesn't really, it's hard to mix in, right? You're going to have to do quite a
Well,
bit of work.
you and I being DJs,
Yeah,
we think of what song is going to blend well with something else to keep people on the dance floor.
that's it.
Even when I'm doing a new artist profile, I have to figure out what songs are going to blend well
Yeah. And
to
keep the
keep the
momentum
flow
going, right? Yeah.
right until that break. Now, after the break, I can do something different. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, yeah, I always am trying to figure out the beats, the BPMs, how do they match up, and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the DJ in you, man. You see, that's you see how all
Yeah,
things work together for the good, man. All things work
it
together for the
does.
good. But as it is the Advent and it's the holiday season, so I got a lovely little surprise in my inbox, and it said that brand new holiday track by Tony D is hitting you any moment from now, and it's Christmas, right? So tell us a bit about that one. That's a new joint that's out
Yeah,
this
this
Christmas.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and I grew up listening to the iconic Donny Hathaway song "This Christmas." It was not it. I had to hear three songs, and I always knew it was Christmas. My mother would play James Cleveland Christmas album, and then I would hear the Whispers Christmas song, and then I would hear Donny Hathaway this Christmas. And when I heard those songs, when I heard that album and those two songs, I got into the Christmas spirit. And I love Donny Hathaway's amazing artist. Wish he was still here. His
Yeah.
daughter's taking the mantle. Layla is doing her thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I love that song. So I actually recorded this song 3 years ago, and it was horrible. I wouldn't release it. It was terrible.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay. Okay.
somebody said, Tony, why don't you put out a Christmas song? And I said, let me revisit the Donny Hathaway song because my lead bass playing has improved some. My
Mm-hmm.
production skills has improved some. Um, so I gave it a shot again. And so I started in October, and now we have it.
Wow. Yeah, and it's smooth, man. It's already gone straight into the rotation, so no problem there. It will probably be the very first. I'm quite selective before I start playing Christmas music or holiday music, and I think November sometimes feels a little bit too soon. But the
Right.
tracks are already coming in, and I'm thinking, you're gonna have to start playing some sometimes, otherwise you're never gonna play them all. So
Right, right.
I think that one's going in the rotation next week. But it's interesting. So one of the things you said. So with "Summertime," that was a track that took a good few years for it to be done to perfection, and the same with this one as well.
Yeah. I uh, because some people can produce really fast, and
Yeah.
I applaud them for that. I have a friend, Sean Scales, Dr. Sean Scales. He can get a song on Tuesday and Thursday it's done. And I mean, he's just got that gift. I don't have that gift. I'm learning production now. I'm learning the mixing process now. Um, So it takes me some time, I think I overthink my music.
Okay.
Um, I'll listen to a bass part while I'm playing it and like it, and then
Mm.
tomorrow I hate it. you know, and I go back and do it again, and
Mm.
and so I probably overthink my music. I took my son to a studio production class a couple of weeks ago, and the gentleman that was instructing the class said you have to be comfortable with what you create at some point, else you'll continue and you'll never let the song get out.
Yeah,
So when
true.
I was working on this song, I had to say, okay, Tony, it's good, it's good. And as I listened to it, there's still parts of it I'm like, oh God, I don't like that part, but it's out now, so it
It's
is
out
what it
now. There's no,
is.
it's unless you do a remix, right? And then there's
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's pretty much it. But it's already out. But I mean, again, it just shows your your level of dedication to your craft, right? You're always trying to one up yourself and do better. And I think that's again really important. I don't think there's any artist out there that just rests on their laurels. They just think I've got to a bit, and it's just like, yeah, we're just going to try the same thing over and over again, and people are
No.
just going to lap it up. It's the environment is such that people are always looking for something fresher and newer, and yeah, that kind of like drives you to do a lot more, I think, as well.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Mm,
definitely. I always,
mm,
this is new. This is new to me, and because there are so many jazz basses out there,
mm,
that are amazing, and I glean from them all. I have to try to do something to set myself apart, so that people would want to listen to me,
mm.
along with them. So yeah, that's why I work so hard at trying to do what I do now.
No, well, I think it's working off. I couldn't. I mean, I listened to both tracks. I didn't think they needed any more work to them at all. But I'm not a producer. I'm a consumer. So I guess you need to have a consumer. You need to have
Well,
a consumer focus group as well to listen to the music.
but and that's a great point because I
Mm,
was talking to a producer, and a lot of my producer friends like, man, Tony, the track is good, but here you could have done this, that, and the other. But when I talk to people who just download it and buy it, they love it. They think everything. So it's if you are in that arena, you're going to, what I'm saying,
yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, if the consumer likes it and they play it around the Christmas holiday and make it a part, then I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess that's what it can all be about. But I get the idea why you would want something that is also at such a level that your peers would now say, or the industry people would now come and say, "Oh, well, that's really well done,"
Right.
So, but onwards and upwards, man. As you said, you just got back into this, right? You just started doing music again. A few years? No, you said a few months, right? Within the last few months.
Well, I started taking me as an artist seriously within,
Seriously,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because I was just making the music, and people were like, "Why it's good? Why are you not pursuing this?" But
yeah.
I never saw myself as an artist. I'm a radio guy.
Mm,
I'm the radio guy. But now I'm embracing, and shout out to Queen Alicia, WKKW Radio,
hmm
all but one marketing because she's one of the one along with so many others. Recently, Timbaland was Timbaland was always telling me, Tony, you need to work with your music, and I was like, no, I'm the radio guy. I'm the radio guy, and so Queen Alicia and others have really pushed me to. So you know all of that has said, okay, now, all right, go ahead, put your music out. So I have a band now. We're practicing to go do some dates next year,
good.
and so I'm excited for this journey that I'm taking.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they keep saying you're the radio man. You are the radio man. It's the truth. But you can be the other guy as well. So that's
Yeah.
really great. Talking of radio, we're about to round up. I just wanted to say, one of the things people don't know about you as well, and I'm going to share the news too, is that we are also talking to, a stellar a nominee, which is not an easy thing to do, but it was stellar nominee for best radio presenter. Is that right?
Radio host, yes.
Radio host, yeah. How was that when you heard the news?
Man, let me tell you, that was that was amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of the many highlights of my life, but that
Mm.
is right up there. And I have to shout out Timbaland. That was something that she really pushed for all along.
Yeah.
She was like, Tony, you gonna get nominated for that Stella. You gonna get and she did. She positioned me when she was serving as my manager at the time. She positioned me to receive that. But when I became music director at WAW and was doing the afternoon drive,
Mm.
then I was able to have a national view of what I was doing outside of
Mm.
just the new artist profile, which is relegated to independent artists. Me being on a reporting station in a fairly major market,
Yeah.
doing the drive time, then the national people were able to focus on what I was doing,
Yeah.
and that's when that and the colleagues in the industry, they voted for me, and I was
Yeah.
surprised. Like I was very surprised that so many of my colleagues in the industry, voted for me. Shout out to Melissa Wade, Wade in the Water in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Amazing radio show host. She won that year. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't expect to win because I was up on some heavy hitters,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I was just happy to be an official nominee. And I'm gonna say this, another, not trying to sound super spiritual, but
Mm.
you have to be careful what you ask God for, because I always ask God for, let me get the black plaque. I'll be happy with the black plaque. Just let me have the black plaque that says official nominee. That's what I got.
Wow. Wow.
Just leave it right there.
Yes, leave it right there. That's a good way to round up, right? Be careful what you ask for, right?
Yo, that's
Oh
what I
god,
got.
it reminds me of that thing. There was that thing in the Bible where he said if you had hit it 3 times or something like that, we would have completely. I can't remember how the scripture goes, but as you said that, it's like if you didn't, you got to throw yourself in there, and you got to say to God, yeah, okay, I'm the guy. You know, I really want to be that person. I really want to win. And look at that, man. Oh my God. Go back and ask him again. Say, you know what, God, I'm really grateful I got the black plaque. Now I want the other one to go
Now
with
I want the
it.
trophy. I should have asked for the trophy in the first place.
Well, shay, come on, man. You know, you put a little bit of humility there. So, you know what, God, if I can just get the black plaque, I'll really be I'll be grateful. And, you know, you got
Yeah.
that. And it's like, you know, but
But
I'm sure
congratulations to you. Speaking of congratulations, man, you made it up there, brother, for the
I
Stellars, man.
look,
Congratulations,
I
bro.
I, I just want to thank God because that was not even part of anybody's plan. It's a bit like you know what happened to you. I was amazed, I was surprised, I was lost for words. I think at one point I couldn't even eat while the whole process was going on. It was just like it just takes you out of this place. But it's a wonderful thing to be in one of those positions where your hard work is being recognized and
Yeah.
that's what these things do. We're not collecting the trophies because you know it's what you see. I think you said something really important. We spend more time off air doing stuff than what you will ever see on air. You know, you're going to
Yes.
see this. We're going to go away. You're going to go off and go and do some stuff. I'm going to go off, you know, cut, chop, do all the stuff that goes around putting this out and everything. People will never ever see that part. You know, they just probably assume that you got a team of maybe 50 people, you know, waiting, you know. You know, as soon as you get up, someone's going to hand you a bottle of water. Someone's going to give you a napkin to dap your face. Okay, Tony.
Got my own water.
Me
I
too.
wish that was.
You know, don't worry. You know, there's a meal waiting for you downstairs. There's this, there's that, and there's all. But no, you know, we are, you know, single operators 90% of the time with a few people that
90%.
do help. And you know, I believe that you know things will change, but in the meantime, in
Oh yeah.
between time, we are doing what we do, and we're doing it to the glory of God. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. So
Amen. Tony, tell everybody how they can connect with you as well, and how they can send their music through to the new artist profile, and where they can find this Christmas.
okay, great. Let
Hmm.
me try to remember everything. First, let me thank Queen Alicia of WKKW Radio and All But One Promotions for doing an amazing job at promoting Party Tonight and the single She Keeps Me Straight.
Yeah.
Um, um, I am available on my website, theofficialtonyd.com. That's where you can check out my music.
Hmm.
You can follow me on social media on most platforms as Tony D.
Yeah.
with a dot or Tony D on the radio.
Hmm.
And my Facebook page, they won't let me be Tony D on Facebook, so you have to follow me in my government, Dallas A. Frazier. I don't know why they won't let me be Tony D on Facebook, you know. And and the new artist profile, you can submit your music to the email address. I'll say it slow.
Mm.
Submit music, the number two, NAP at gmail.com. So it's submit music to NAP at gmail.com.
Hmm.
And we'll review. I do have some people that help me review, and we'll review your music. Hopefully, you'll get on the broadcast. Um, and I have all of my music is exclusively on my Bandcamp page,
Yeah.
tonyd2.bandcamp.com. That's where you have some music that is not on the streaming platforms.
Okay.
I have an album there called Just for You. It's a really good album, nice, easy listening jazz. Sit, while you want to lay back and cool out. And I explain to people why I came up with these songs.
Good.
TonyD2.bandcamp.com. But all of my other music is on all the streaming platforms. All of the streaming platforms. That's where everything else is.
Yeah, we're going to put the links to everything in the description as well. So that way around, people are going to be able to connect with you as well. But my brother, Mr. Tony D, aka Dallas Frazier, aka Tony D on the radio. If you've got one word, I bet it's going to be chill.
Yeah. That's it.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much indeed for coming on, and we will catch up soon, my brother. Take good care.
Elder, thank you so much, man. I love you, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers. Take care.